So this video is going to be all about the deification of Luigi Mangione. Not necessarily his charges specifically or a deep dive into his background, which is intriguing, but not really the subject matter of this video. It's really about how social media has rallied around Luigi as a revolutionary figure, or rather how social media has turned him into a revolutionary figure, has propped him up to be something, and I'm not sure he really is that thing. First, I'm going to apply the innocent until proven guilty doctrine in this matter, because prosecutors still have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Luigi Mangione is guilty, and there hasn't been a trial yet. So we still don't know if he is the person who did what they say he did. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I feel like most of the evidence from what I've seen, we can kind of reasonably conclude that he did it in sort of an OJ, like he did it type thing. But again, the prosecutors still have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it was indeed Luigi. If the evidence doesn't stick, if there isn't enough, he could very well be a free man at the end of all of this. Nonetheless, Luigi hasn't said anything about the case. It has made no remarks about what motivated this assassination, which would make sense because he doesn't want to ruin things for the defense. But I think that given how enigmatically Luigi himself has behaved, it doesn't really make sense to look at him the way we are looking at him, right? As some sort of liberatory or revolutionary figure. When Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, was shot, a lot of people predicted that this would be sort of the impetus of a substantive conversation about class and about the exploitative practices of insurance companies, and that maybe this would sort of turn into something bigger, right? Like a moment, a cornerstone moment in some sort of like working class uprising or revolution. And that conversation happened briefly, right? People talked about their experiences, not just with United, but with other healthcare companies and other insurance companies, times where doctors had to advocate on their behalf so that they could get life-saving treatment that would cost thousands and thousands of dollars that they just did not have. And how insurance companies would just be so greedy and stingy. Like, that conversation happened until it stopped happening. And that was once Luigi Mangione was identified as the suspect in charge. The conversation evolved into something else entirely. Switching gears, in America, we are ruled by our implicit biases. They dictate how we feel about things. They dictate how we treat people, how we view people. They are everything, those implicit biases. And in America, we want our protagonists, our heroes, to look a certain way. We want them to be conventionally attractive, rich, articulate, interesting, compelling. We want them to be these larger than life figures that we can worship. And Luigi fits the mold that has been built by American culture. He's an Ivy League grad, software engineer. He's from a prominent, rich Maryland family. People were going through his Twitter and really liked, his Twitter persona. He's athletic. I don't know how tall he is, but he's pretty tall. He has nice hair. He's got great eyebrows, great smile. What if Luigi wasn't that though, right? What if Luigi looked like an incel? Most of the people who commit these kinds of crimes are incels, right? They look it too. They have this look in their eye that's very like, they haven't socialized in a long time. That's what they look like. What if he was black? Or what if he was poor? Would we view him as a hero? Would we see him? Would we want him to be our hero? Would we care? I don't know, but I don't think so. My question is, how can we view Luigi as a revolutionary when he hasn't claimed his revolutionary act? And this is where I think everything kind of falls apart for me when people are talking about Luigi, when people are mentioning Luigi and Harriet Tubman in the same sentence. Luigi and Nat Turner, Luigi and John Brown, Luigi and MLK, Luigi and Malcolm X. When we are inserting him into conversations with these figures, how can we do so? How was he this person if he pled not guilty to the one thing that puts him in that conversation? He's not claiming it. To be a liberator or revolutionary figure, I would think that one would take ownership of his or her actions to, at the very least, right, signal to the public that others should follow suit. It feels counterintuitive to commit this violent act, then plead innocence if the goal is to ignite some semblance of an uprising. How do you get an uprising if you're saying I didn't do it? Where does the uprising occur? As I mentioned before, people want Luigi to be their hero because he looks like a hero. He fits the aesthetic that has been crafted by media in this country for decades. Think about all of the Marvel superheroes. What is one thing Marvel superheroes all have in common? They're hot. They're attractive. We like looking at them. They look good in their uniform, their superhero costumes. They all look good. They're all conventionally attractive. And he fits that mold. He looks the part. But when we look at what he has accomplished, he hasn't really done much for Americans materially. That's how I judge revolutionaries, right? Like, who did you save? Who did you liberate? Who did you free? You didn't save anyone. Nothing has changed. Corporate America operates like a hydra. When one CEO dies, they're immediately replaced. Another one takes its place. You could go on Google and look up United Healthcare CEO. They already have a new one. So the assassination of Brian Thompson did not fundamentally alter the medical industrial complex in America. Luigi is simply a white man who got upset and shot someone. That is something that happens all the time.